In this video, I'm going to show you how to destroy your opponents with deadly attacks like this. Watch right to the end to upgrade your style and win more games. This is International Master YF Chess, and today I'll be sharing 9 top attacking strategies with beautiful examples for each one. If you'd like to see more super condensed chess guides, please subscribe and let me know you did in the comments. Let's get right into it. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and a defense is only as strong as its weakest square. In this position, Pavel was on the back foot with the black pieces, and despite his best efforts to defend, Magnus tears black's position apart to win a game-deciding pawn. But instead of suffering this slow death on the defensive, the story could have been very different if Pavel identified and attacked Magnus's weakness. Let's rewind and search for white's weakest square. Look for squares that are hard for the enemy pieces to defend, easy for ours to attack. And keep in mind, all pawn chains have a root which cannot be defended by other pawns. Hey presto, f2 is the weakest square. It turns out we can sacrifice the bishop and take over the initiative by bringing our queen into the attack. Now the tables are turned and white has to defend accurately to hold on to a draw. Always look to attack the weakest square. Speaking of weak squares, weaknesses tend to form on either light or dark squares because defending pawns and pieces tend to favor one color square. Bishops can only ever control dark or light squares. Knights and pawns only control one color square at a time, and queens control more of the color square they are placed on. In this position, black's defenders are heavily controlling the dark squares, so Najditch launches an unstoppable attack on the light squares, with the idea of queen g6, bishop e4, queen h7, mate. Identify which color square the defense is weakest on and focus the attack on this color. In some cases, attacking weaknesses directly is not sufficient, as a good defender can maneuver their pieces to defend the weakness. On a direct tactical level, one piece defending 2 key squares can be diverted to leave one of those key squares undefended. On a more strategic level, we can look to divert defenders away from the weakness by attacking or even faking an attack on another square. Here Yakovenko's pieces were poised for the attack, but black's queen and knight are in position to defend, so Yakovenko comes up with a brilliant diversion. Once the defenders are out of position, attack the weaknesses swiftly for an easy win. In this case, g6 is falling after rook e6, which also means the passed pawn can't be blocked. Our next strategy is super important. Strength in numbers sounds like common sense, but is frequently overlooked. Always look to bring as many pieces into the attack as you can. In this game, after Eric's mistake, I managed to blow his king open and win a pawn using diversion tactics. But there's no way to win the game with just my queen. The final nail in the coffin is when I bring the rook to the party. One extra piece is often the difference between a fruitless attack and overpowering the defense for an unstoppable checkmate. Attacks don't just materialize out of thin air. Pieces need to be assembled and pawns deployed ready for the attack. Get your pieces line of vision on the enemy weakness or king. This is often achieved by exchanging pawns to open relevant files or diagonals. Be patient and pick the right timing to pull the trigger and execute the attack, especially as many attacks and sacrifices are all-ins. In this game, I open up the G file after advancing my pawns and build up an unstoppable attack by maneuvering 5 pieces to the king side. It's worth noting some positions are more suited to attack than others. White generally has many attacking openings to choose from. As black, the Sicilian defense and King's Indian defense, as seen in this game, are notorious for creating imbalances and attacking chances for black, as opposed to, say, the Caro-Kann defense, which is renowned for being super solid. When attacking, look to trap the king in a mating net using your pieces. Cut off the king's escape route so you're delivering checkmate, not just check. In fact, there is a chess saying, Patzer see a check, Patzer give a check, where Patzer means weak chess player. For some reason, amateur players love to give check, but this often leads to the king escaping and a failed attack. Don't mindlessly check unless it achieves something. In this game, the white king could have escaped to win the game as shown, but rewinding a few moves, we can see the king's escape route is through e2, so instead of checking him away, The fatal attacking plan is based on creating a mating net by controlling e2. One of the best pieces of chess advice I've ever received is find the defense, break the defense. After seeing an attacking idea or plan for yourself, look for a defense for your opponent. Then improve your attacking idea so that the defense no longer works. Repeat until you can no longer find a defense for your opponent. Unless you miss something, congratulations. By definition, you just found an unstoppable attack. This thinking process is especially useful in key positions where the game is on a knife's edge and the next moves will be decisive. In the example, the position looks like a dead draw as black's defense to stop the passed pawn is to play e4, opening the diagonal for his bishop. But by consistently finding the defense and breaking the defense each move, it's possible to break black's defense to win the game. Perhaps a less glamorous but nevertheless essential strategy is cashing out your attack for an advantage when checkmate is not possible. An attacking initiative is generally only temporary, so strong players will convert attacks into a longer-term positional or material advantage before the initiative fizzles out. In the example game, I found a promising piece sacrifice to accelerate my attack, but after Grandmaster Hawkins defended accurately, I was left a piece down with no attack. Rewinding, I missed an opportunity to win back the piece with Queen g4 and cash out into a better endgame after trapping the knight on h5. The game is far from over, but I have a clear advantage thanks to his weak king and isolated pawn on e6. Look out for opportunities to convert your attack into longer term advantages before you run out of momentum. The final and arguably most important strategy is efficient use of tempo. Each move is a tempo, and each tempo is worth its weight in gold. If, for each tempo, the attacker can add more firepower to the attack than the defender can add to the defense, eventually the defense will crumble. In this example, d5 brings the rook and bishop into the attack, whilst also diverting black's knight, a key defensive piece. The follow-up attack beautifully demonstrates how to attack black's weaknesses on the dark squares, creating a mating net with the king in the corner, and strengthen numbers, bringing in the rook for the final blow. Another key point to take into consideration regarding tempo is the question to rush or not to rush. If the opponent's next tempos are going to make the defense impenetrable, you'll need to look for the kill switch as soon as possible. But in other positions, the defense is stuck or already optimized, and the attacker can take time to regroup or execute a slower plan to prepare the fatal blow. In this game, Nigel Short has Jan Timman completely tied down, so he can take his sweet time marching the king all the way to h6, and checkmate is unstoppable.
Good luck crushing the unlucky noobs who haven't seen this video. If you found this useful, be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos.